All right. Megan, sorry about that little technicality. I started introducing you and we weren't quite online yet. Megan Berger, welcome to GradLink's webinar series, our lunchtime chat. It's such a pleasure to have you here today. How
Thanks
are
so
you
much,
doing?
Priya. It's amazing. Thanks so much. I'm doing really, really well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Very grateful that we had a small holiday in South Africa yesterday with Heritage Day.
Yeah,
So
some of us were working, Priya.
shame. Yes, I am sorry about that. But as I have learned off the main stage from you shortly, that you work English hours, which is quite beautiful.
Yes,
You get to live in this gorgeous country and you get to start your day at 10 o'clock, which is quite wonderful.
definitely. Working UK hours has its benefits.
Yes. All right, so Megan, let's get started. You are the executive assistant to the CEO of Modern Day Talent. Maybe you could tell us briefly a little bit about yourself and the company.
Amazing. Thanks, Priya. So I'm Megan Berger, like you said. I am first and foremost the executive assistant to George Burgess, our CEO at Modern Day Talent. However, I also dabble and assist with HR, operations, and a little bit of finance. So, Modern Day Talent is an offshore staffing agency where we connect ambitious South African professionals with fast growing companies in the UK and beyond. Since we started in 2023, we've helped more than 70 young professionals launch international careers. And I mean, careers, not just jobs, because there is a difference to us.
Wow. Okay, cool. That is very impressive. 70. That's you. You
Yeah,
and your company really need to applaud yourself about that. That's wonderful.
thank
A little
you.
bit more on you though. So I see from your bio that you actually started your career with 14 years in customer service, including a senior flight attendant. That is very exciting.
Very different.
Yeah, a
A
very,
very,
very
very
different.
different world.
What skills would you say that you sort of attained from your career previously that have prepared you for your role at Modern Day Talent?
I think my background as a flight attendant really taught me resilience, adaptability, and but above like everything, just people skills. I mean, you encounter every type of personality and unexpected situation as you can only imagine on a flight. From handling emergency situations to navigating tricky situations with passengers. But the role as a flight attendant, yes, it's all about customer service and PR, but you also are required to do first aid training, firefighting, but very much important in everything that tops it all is quick decision making and quick decision making skills. So all of the skills that I've learned in my career, whether it was flying or logistics or volunteering, it's all translated to encompass what I do at Modern Day Talent, whether it's supporting HR or managing accounts or just helping the team thrive in all. So yeah, very much people skills, but those soft skills really, really help me.
Yeah. Yeah, so soft skills are such an important area or facet that we're only it feels to me that we're only sort of thinking about this now, with the jobs kind of
Yeah,
going into the market now, because previously it was all, what do you have as a piece of
yeah,
paper?
yeah, exactly.
But the students are all getting the similar, it's a class of 20, 30 people, you're all getting the piece of paper. So you've got to distinguish yourself. Resilience is a beautiful one that you mentioned, and
Yeah,
listening skills, people skills. At the end of the day, you've got to also be, like, I want to say likable in a work environment, but that basically means that you've got to be able to work with the people.
exactly. You have to be
Yeah.
able to work as a team, but also stand out as an individual. I think that's super important.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So, okay, so now we fast forward to the present time, executive assistant. What does a typical day look like for you? You've mentioned you do
No,
lots of things.
yeah. So no 2 days are the same for me. Yes, I manage George's schedule. I coordinate clients and employee check-ins, but I also keep projects moving throughout the business. So I do HR contracts, onboarding, and I also assist the talent team with recruitment. So one day I might be setting up our new office in Claremont, and the next I'll be drafting contracts for employees. So the role touches all parts of the business, and that's what I love the most about it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
exciting because I think after a little while, no one wants to be doing the same thing every day. So a little bit of variance in your day
yeah,
is always wonderful. Um,
100%.
I can see it on your face and the way you're talking. You absolutely love working for this company, but you've also mentioned you love working for a company that helps South Africans build global careers.
Yeah.
So tell me, why does this mission resonate so strongly with you specifically as an individual?
So I think I've seen firsthand how challenging it can be for young South Africans to access meaningful opportunities. And I think it's about hope, dignity, and realizing the potential. And I'm proud to be part of that. I've also been part of a world where I can see the effects of the social economic barriers that are put up. Like I said previously, I've managed a volunteering agency, and I saw how access to those resources and opportunities can shape your future. So at Modern Day Talent, I feel like I'm helping people level up and see the tangible results. And I love being part of the solution, and not just, understanding, and not only understanding, but seeing that youth unemployment problem and challenge that's so high in South Africa at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. It's those numbers are staggering.
Yeah.
And then if you look at it even from a statistical perspective of students who, their family have sent them to some kind of institution, some tertiary institution, and they still struggle with employment.
Yeah.
So this was my appeal. This is why I reached out to you a couple of times. I'm like, I really want you and I want Modern Day Talent on board for this webinar series. Maybe you could tell me a little bit about Modern Day Talent, its background, and so forth.
So, I mean, Modern Day Talent started with George, finding that we have such great talent in South Africa. So he had previous businesses before that he sold, and he came here, created an entire team here, and found just how great we can work with, our English skills, our cultural diversity, our time zones that work so well with the UK and the US, and just how great the talent is. Yeah. So it kind of flourished from there. He has a great passion for assisting with our unemployment rate. It is something that is deeply meaningful to him as a person as well. So him creating this company and putting our team together, we just kind of had that at the core throughout. So yeah, it came from there. He started as a one-man band and then created all of us from there, with all of us joining from about last year onwards. So now we have a recruitment team, we have an HR and ops team, which is me, but we also have sales, we have marketing. So the business is growing internally as well as externally with our clients.
Yeah, that's so great
Yeah.
to hear. And you, again, I keep speaking about the passion. And as a result of this, modern day talents is basically becoming one of the most trusted sources of a company, that other companies are reliant on and find, the talent that they're looking for, essentially, which is wonderful news. And I applaud you and your team for, the hard work. You're talking about like a year or ago,
Yeah.
So what would you say then? What sets sort of your approach apart when it comes to connecting talent and businesses?
I think so. First and foremost, we take an executive search style approach to our searching a recruitment. So we don't just send client CVs. We deeply understand the client's needs. We proactively source for candidates. We also provide onboarding support for those candidates once they become, employees. We do regular check-ins with our employees and clients. For us, it's about a partnership. It's not just a once-off placement. So like I mentioned previously, we also have our new office space in Cape Town. So we're able to now offer office-based satellite teams in South Africa. So we're not only offering fully remote positions, we're offering hybrid positions as well. And I think a key benefit to that slight hybrid mentality is the enhanced collaboration. George likes to call it the water cooler effect, where the biggest and best ideas came from stepping away from the screen and networking and talking to people by the water cooler. So yes, definitely. We also are very much aligned with posting jobs on and making them available on different systems, so not just LinkedIn or PNet, things like that. We do post on GradLink as well, and it gives us access to the cream of the crop of South African talent, because we're sifting through thousands of CVs to find the best of the best. I think the last thing that I want to say about this is our EOR, our employer of record style, our model. I think it mitigates a lot of risk for clients and candidates. But talking about the candidates, the graduates, the people that are actually applying, you never really know if you're applying for something real when it's an online remote position. Hybrid and in person, it's kind of better because you can go and do an interview with someone, meet them, see their offices. But when it's fully remote, it's a little bit scary. And that model that we've taken on, helps mitigate that risk, because we're the middleman between you and the client. So we're your person here in South Africa that you can meet. We're here, you can go have coffee with us, and we put your mind at ease that way.
I think there's so much truth to be said to the statement that you're saying, like having an actual physical presence, because unfortunately, this is the world that we live in. Hey, and social media, a pet peeve of mine, that definitely has something to play with it. So you need the reassurance that what it is that you're trying to apply for is something that actually works.
Yes.
But so we're talking remote work, we're talking hybrid work. This is a huge area of contention across the country, across the world, really.
Exactly.
My argument always goes back. I mean, the GradLink team is wholly remote, but my argument always goes back. Like, if you are in an industry, we saw this post-COVID that you can actually work remote. However, hybrid, interestingly enough, is becoming a lot more appealing to everyone, including Gen Zs, who is the generation going into the workforce, right? But so you've got remote, you've got hybrid, and then you've got remote global careers, which is essentially what modern day talent is all about, right?
Yes.
So what would you say South African graduates need to know in order to thrive in a remote first team?
I think regardless, South African, anyone, any remote first team, your number one skill key is communication. Yes, time management and self-discipline is also vital, because you're trusted by a company to do and deliver what they need you to without them being in person and looking over your shoulder. You have to be adaptable to different cultures and be able to work in different ways. But number one key is communication. Professional communication, yes, but communication in different styles, whether it's a Slack message to your CEO or an email to a client. You have to keep that communication open, because I'm over here in South Africa, George is all the way in London, UK. How does he know what I'm doing without monitoring my emails? He needs to have that open communication with him.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's like, are you available? Are you visible?
Yes.
If I'm going, hi, could you please check something? How quick is that response time?
Exactly.
Naturally, understanding people should be busy with their job, but I love what you're saying here. It is communication. At the end, it's not, well, I don't know, perhaps it's controversial for me to say, but I don't think it's necessarily platforms that are consistently monitoring your thing. Is how quickly are
No.
you available?
Yes.
You know, how are you communicating? You said it
Yeah,
gorgeously.
no, it's controversial, and I'll agree with you. You don't need a system that monitors your availability. I think it's how quickly you're able to respond and how available you can make yourself when need be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I always have a giggle when I see these TikTok videos, you know, these extreme TikTok
Oh, yeah.
videos of people who are working remotely, but they're chilling in the pool.
And their little mouse going around. No,
No,
definitely not.
yeah, no, nobody wants that. But
No.
we're talking about like, you know, essentially skills, right? So we've talked about resilience, we've spoken about the importance of communication. So what would you say are the skills or qualities that global companies value the most about South African graduates? I know that sounds kind of similar to what I just asked you,
Yeah,
but I feel like there's a little bit of a distinction.
there is. And the biggest difference is that South Africans are universally known to be hard workers and to be resourceful. I mean, it's always a joke where people say, you know, you have to get a South African in to the country to do the work better. But we just set ourselves apart, like I mentioned earlier, with our English level, with our time zone, with being able to be multicultural as a society. We can work with people that are from so many different cultures. So we're just naturally, we have those skills. Luckily, it's not something you have to open a textbook and learn further. But I think the skill that we can maybe work on is, like I said earlier, is our strong communication. And a skill that you can learn is your problem solving. Everything else comes naturally to us. Luckily, this is an easy question for everyone.
Yeah. South Africans are naturally resilient and haughty. I love that this is the advice that you're giving, because you know, GradLink almost exclusively works with graduates. The platform's obviously open for alumni type students, or, you know, individuals also.
Yeah.
But communication is definitely something. It's not just how do I put this, it's not just responding, but it's almost like preempting, like what is actually in the grand scheme of things required of me, you know. And this generation, once they just nail that beautiful little spot, it's going to be beautiful to see,
I
you know,
agree.
what they're going to be able to achieve. But speaking of the graduates, let's talk about some tips.
Yeah.
You are the expert on the call at the moment. So, what tips would you, Megan, give to graduates looking to break into international opportunities?
I think first and foremost, it's investing in your skills. Keep learning and building expertise in areas like digital tools, sales, customer service, or any field that's relevant to what you're wanting to go into. But also just stay up to date with popular CRM systems or professional systems that you see maybe online that people use. Platforms like LinkedIn Learning and even YouTube are great for this. What are you saying? TikTok, even. It's the way of the world at the moment, and it's so easy to stay on top of things with social media at the moment. Secondly, probably most importantly, polish your CV. And also your LinkedIn profile. Focus on your achievements, not just your responsibilities in previous work, but I think I've mentioned this 500 times. Please make sure that your English is correct and professional and clear. You know, your communication isn't just verbal, it's typed as well. So remember that any communication that you give to us is the first time we're seeing your writing style. So it's super important to impress us anytime you're speaking to us or communicating, and to avoid common mistakes like sending your CV in a Word document.
Ooh.
Always send it as a PDF.
Yeah. Oh,
It
gosh.
is so important. I mean, it's for security as well, where documents are so easily, changed. PDF is just the way to go. Thirdly is confidence. like I said, we have this natural skills that we are just competitive on a global scale as South Africans. Sorry, water.
No, please take your time.
But employers are actively searching for candidates that have your skills and work ethic as graduates. My apologies.
No, please don't worry about it. It's a lot of words we're using right now. I totally understand.
Thank you. But yes, just be confident. I think the last tip I'd like to leave you with is to be proactive online. And that doesn't mean your Instagram or your Facebook. It means your LinkedIn, your professional platforms, to be engaging with relevant content that you find interesting, that you want to, go into, or things like that, and staying visible to recruiters like ourselves. Because if we think you're interesting, as graduates, you might not have a 3 or 4 page CV, not that we want that, but your CV isn't as long as we would like a normal, CV to be in the senior phases. So we will look at your LinkedIn to see what do you have to offer that's outside of your CV. So to keep those things up to date is quite important.
So I'm definitely hearing a very heavy emphasis from you on your CV.
Yes.
And this is very interesting for me. So we've sort of been preaching that that conversation for a while at GradLink, and it's amusing me and embarrassing me at the same time. But I see I spelled lunchtime chat wrong. I spelled lunch wrong, and this just doesn't. It's not gonna. I'll fix it, by the time it goes on YouTube, so that's not a problem. But it's so interesting for me that like language, font, grammar are as important, because
Yes.
you're absolutely right. If those little things set you off, sorry, now I'm just going on a little bit
No,
because this is
I love it.
exciting. But there is a statistic that your average talent acquisition manager or HR recruiter with the first round only spends 3 seconds looking at an interview. And you could be qualified, confident, all of those things, and then those little things just put you at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, unfortunately, that I can attest that is true. As much as we would love to spend 10 minutes looking at each person's CV, we just can't when we are inundated with thousands of CVs for one position. And that is very realistic for us to go through 400 or 500 CVs in a day for one position. So it has to grab us. It doesn't have to be colorful and all out there. Don't try and grab us in the wrong ways. Grab us with the professionalism and the clean cut, that's really what stands out to us.
Yeah. So, throwing a rough ball at you, but what would you say is how many pages? What do you prefer as an individual?
So as an individual, me, Megan, when I look at CVs, I don't mind. So and George is going to slap me on the wrist for this one. I don't mind if your CV is 3 or 4 pages long. We would like it to be, 1 or 2 pages. I think there's a saying out there where a really, really good CV can be condensed into 1 page, because that excludes job hoppers and things like that, because obviously the longer your CV, the worse your job hopping is. But I would say, for me, preferable 2 pages.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and I don't want your driver's license. I don't want to know where you live, your location. We see it so often. We see people sending their certificates, their university diplomas. We don't want it. We just want your CV. We will ask you for the information that we need after that.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought this up about your location, your drive. We actually say at GradLink, take all of that off. You need your name, not even your ID number. You need your name, and you need an email and a cell phone. That is as much as you should disclose as a first round to an employer.
I think for us, we would love to know your location. So not your address, just to know if you're in Cape Town, Joburg, PE, where are you? And that's it.
Yeah, yeah. I think also, everyone's always talking about POPI compliance. So, students and graduates need to think about this now. Also, don't give information. Like,
Oh,
no one needs to know.
100%.
Oh gosh, no, that's beautiful advice.
I think
Um,
our senior recruiter Liz could speak about this topic for another hour. It's so important to her because we just see it so often, and it's
yeah,
sad that someone out there could be using that information for
yeah,
bad
yeah,
purposes.
yeah. I mean, it's interesting that you say that. You're going to be getting an email from me at some point today. I'd love to maybe invite Liz and, let's
Oh,
see.
definitely.
Don't do this session on your CV, as
Yes,
because everyone says, oh, do this. But perhaps what the problem is, what they're not.
yes.
Anyway, food
Ooh,
for
I could
thought.
speak her into that one.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I might get a slap on the wrist for just randomly proposing another webinar series, but that's perfectly fine. We're almost out of time. This always happens. But you guys have Modern Day Talent has a wonderful opportunity on GradLink right now for a junior bookkeeper. Okay.
Yes.
So, Megan, what I would love to know, you told me offline that you're happy, lots of applications coming through GradLink, but let's talk to our audience for a couple of minutes. What would you love, or what can the graduate do with this particular position that you are looking at or looking to hire for right now to stand out with their application?
I think we really are looking for someone that can just blow us away with professionalism, with confidence. But as a bookkeeper, you need to have that eye for detail. So someone that has maybe done well in sports or something on their CV that can show me that they are detail orientated and that they can take direction. I'm not really sure what the answer is, but something of that sort. Maybe even something that can show me that they can learn technology and software and systems pretty quickly. Because as a graduate, you might not have all the experience on Zero or QuickBooks, but you're able to learn them as fast as possible. That could also be very preferential. So yes, definitely if you are someone that has an accounting degree or working towards something that's about accounting or bookkeeping, please do apply, because we'd love to say that we got you through this webinar.
Yeah, that would be great. So sort of like a almost like a golden highlight that just sort of makes you pop. That's the candidate that you're looking for at the moment. Someone who's just done a little bit extra
Yeah,
aligned, that shows an attention to detail, a meticulous individual who's sort of, involved with more than getting the piece of paper, like we've spoken of.
exactly. I think yes, exactly that. Exactly that.
Okay. All right. Well, that's wonderful. I love that. Just for the sake of our audience, I see the chat. The job is available on GradLink. I'm not going to give you Megan's personal email address. This isn't going on an Air Meet, but this is going on because it's on a couple of platforms. If you're interested in what we have had to say today, please log on to GradLink and go look for the position. It's for Modern Day Talent. It's a junior bookkeeper position.
Yes, and also keep an eye on the Modern Day Talent LinkedIn page for any future jobs that might come up there. They might be a little bit more senior, so maybe an alumni, someone that maybe has a little bit of experience in some sort of a position might see something on LinkedIn that they don't see on GradLink.
Yeah, fantastic. The LinkedIn handle would be Modern Day Talent, so
Modern Day
/
Talent.
Modern Day Talent. Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. So that answers all of the questions in one quick swoop, which is perfectly timed now because we are running out of time. So Megan, I just wanted to thank you. This has been such a great webinar. I've had so much fun talking to you.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. It's been great.
Awesome. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday and the weekend that is just around the corner.
Yes, definitely. You too. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, Megan.
Bye.